Hello, lovely people. I hope that you are having a wonderful day. I was having some technical difficulties with my Facebook stream for some reason. Oh, well, it's actually showing that I'm live, so who knows? Surprise! I'm really glad to be here with you today. God and Goddess, I thank you so much for this beautiful day. Thank you for the health and the existence that you have given us. Please help us to continue to ascend the golden ladder of being. Help us to become the best versions of ourselves possible. Help us to forgive others and be patient and kind and compassionate, and help others in turn forgive us, and help us all just realize that we're all trying and at different levels of consciousness. Help us to know the right words to speak to get through to the people that we are interacting with on a daily basis, to help plant seeds and help them ascend the golden ladder as well. In the name of Elohim I pray, Amen. So today is Heritage Day, and actually I want to read this because I haven't for a little while, and I think it's really beautiful. This is from the Holy Megillah, Nasarean book. I was going to say the Nasarean book of Genesis because that's what it's from. But the Nasarean Bible of the Essene way, available at essene.org. This is from Nasarean book of Genesis, chapter 16. And this goes through all of the days of the peace contemplation and explaining a little bit more in detail about them. And this says, like a raging river, the past flows into the present. Lo, this river carries all the good and bad things of previous generations and deposits both upon the shore of the present, which is your shore. Yea, the sins of your ancestors are present in your blood, as the sins of past cultures are present in your customs. Embrace the helpful things of previous generations, but reject the hurtful, and pray that you pass on better things to the next generation. Therefore, at midday of the 5th day, contemplate peace with your heritage. Speak these words. Our God and Goddess, immanent and transcendent, send to all your angel of peace. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future. That is such a beautiful thing. Even today I got into a little bit of it kind of turned into an argument, unfortunately, because the person got defensive, but they wanted to talk about how their indigenous, ancestors did this or that, how they were hunters, and all of this stuff about the past. Well, it's good to know what our past is. It's really not wise to just blindly go on and we're like, okay, well, my ancestors did this. Okay, well, your ancestors were also in a completely different situation than you're in now. They didn't stop at the grocery store to pick out their prepackaged flesh. They weren't on Facebook. They weren't in the same situation as you. So we can't be doing the same exact things as them and expect that those are justified behaviors. Obviously, when you're in a survival situation, you're going to be judged differently than when you are in the situation that we're in now of gluttony, right? Of all these candy bars and the snacks and all of this stuff. Like, we're not in that survival state, and none of that has to do with anything that our ancestors did. So it's really important that we are mindful of these things so that we can make ourselves better and the future generations, because they're what's going to change this world. Well, they're the future of this world. We're hoping to change it, but they're the ones that get to step up to the plate, and we'll see what they do with it, and that's going to depend on us and how we influence them. So before I jump into this reading, I'm going to say hi in the live chat room. Oh, shoot. I was on Facebook just to make sure that my thing was playing. Hey, David D, how's it going? Yes, we need to know the right words to wake humans up. Exactly. And in the Gospel of Luke 12, which is what originally woke me up to veganism, the Christ was always really compassionate, and it would preface his interaction saying like that he looked on them with compassion because he understood that they were deceived, and he understood the situation that they were in and those demonic strongholds that were influencing that person to either accept or reject what what he was saying. And it's really important, as I was mentioning in previous videos, that we get out of this, like, in order to really influence people and try to, especially when it comes to veganism, we have to get people out of that survival mentality state where it's just this feeling of they're being attacked, so they're feeling defensive and they don't feel safe enough to say, hey, maybe I was wrong, maybe you could help me change. So it's really important how we interact with people, and I myself am working on that. So definitely don't claim that I'm perfect by any means, but I understand that it is really important to work on these areas and improve our relations with other people, and then plant those seeds in the midst of soil that is friendly, not this thorny ground. So, like, we're trying to plant seeds where there's all these thorns and brambles and pains and trauma that is around it, and it's just not going to work. We need to, like, pull them and tend the ground and make it a little bit more, friendly, so that we can have those seeds take root and bloom into something beautiful. So I just wanted to read, well, it's kind of a little bit of a short thing with you today, but this is really, really cool because it is talking about Elkush. And, well, let me just read here. This is from chapter 87. Mekeza's story about returning to earth from Elkush. After my life as a friend of Rakama in Elkush, behold, I lived 2 more incarnations on earth prior to my ascension to Elkush. Elkush is like what you used to read in Matna, where it describes what the original Edenic atmosphere was like before the fall of mankind. Mekeza then quoted from memory the following passage from the Matna portion of the Holy Megillah. Behold, the bodies of Adam and Eve were not like our flesh. They were of a flesh that need not die. Lo, their flesh radiated the gleam of light, and the garden was beautiful. It was a place of delight. The colors of the soil, plants, flowers, and sky were vivid and radiant. The scent of the garden was sweet, and the animals were friendly and harmed not each other, nor ate each other, nor did they harm Adam and Eve. Even so, the animals were of mortal flesh, for animals are souls who have not yet attained immortal bodies, and mankind was to be their guide and example. But even the mortal flesh of the animals gleamed and was of a different nature than today, being lighter and sparkling with innocence. And the water was clear and sweet, yea, and the sounds of the garden were joyful and happy. Yea, that is still true of Elkush, yet there is more that I will now share. Just as it is hard for the human mind to grasp the reality that a chief angel of the Essene tree of life can hold personal one-on-one communion with thousands of persons simultaneously, so is the following information hard to grasp. It's not all. Some people find it easier to grasp than others, that an angel or this divine being, these messengers, whatever you would like to refer to, would be able to have communions with people all over the world at the same exact time. That soul being in different places at once, but also being fully present with the person that they're having that communion with as well. So yeah, it is a little bit hard to wrap our human minds around, but you can understand if you are, turn your spiritual mind on for a minute and understand that souls can be in multiple places at one time. Each person, for every soul, is a person, a spiritual personality. In Elkush, so each person in Elkush has access to the shared group reality of Elkush, and also a personal mansion of many rooms. Talking about, or that brings to mind in the Bible where Christ talks about, in my Father's house there are many mansions. I use the word mansion to convey the idea of a personal abode of many chambers, each chamber or room being for a different purpose. For example, there is a different room linked specifically to each different incarnation one has lived. One can choose, for nobody ever forces such a choice, One can choose to enter that room and study various aspects of that incarnation, looking for greater insights and realizations that aid our ongoing spiritual development. How cool. Like, just imagine a hallway or a house or whatever, and every door is a room that was that lifetime, that incarnation. And then even further into that is like all of the years, and it gets cooler. It's just very, very cool. Although I'm referring to this chamber as a room, it is not a room confined to a specific amount of space. And one can conjure what one sees in the room by simply deciding what one wants to see and work on. And behold, within any one of these rooms, there are various related rooms. And only you decide which to enter, and you can exit simply by wishing to. There is nothing scary or nightmarish about it, and you are always in full control. So, for example, I can enter the room dedicated to one of my past incarnations, and in that room can enter a room that is dedicated to all of my life experiences related to a particular other person that I knew in that lifetime. So you go into, like, I could go back to this lifetime, and then there would be a specific room for all the people that I've interacted with. So if I want to go and see my interactions with my mom, I go into that room. Your friends, your family, it's so cool. There, I can review in the position of invisible bystander any of the interactions that I had with that person, looking to learn lessons from the past to aid my future soul development. Furthermore, from that room or chamber dedicated to my interactions with that particular person, I can enter another room that enables me to study how those interactions affected the person and others, seeing how the ripples of these interactions waved outward to alter the group experience of the whole world or any chosen aspect of the world. How cool is that? You can not only see those interactions, but then you can see how that literally ripple affected to the rest of their life and all of the people that they interacted with, whether it is a good or a bad thing. Now behold, I have briefly described a few rooms and rooms within rooms of the personal mansion of many rooms. The few examples of countless possible examples that I have thus far given are related to doing personal work, learning lessons that aid our ongoing work of soul development. But I would also have you know that there are rooms and rooms within rooms dedicated to play and fellowship. One of those rooms is that which I call visiting friends and relatives from the past incarnations for present moment fellowship. Say that 10 times fast. As hard as it might be for your human mind to grasp how Rakma can commune with many persons one-on-one simultaneously, the following will be even more challenging to grasp. In the room called visiting friends and relatives from past incarnations for present moment fellowship, you are not simply observing past interactions to learn from, nor are these visitations merely fantasy. Rather, Jaja Elohim so designed the multi-layered universe and multi-layered soul so that below, or perhaps above, the conscious awareness of any particular person living a particular incarnation, there is this ability to simultaneously visit and fellowship with other souls in these rooms that were created for that purpose. So I can visit with my parents, children, friends, and only those that I choose to visit with, being forced to visit none. And regardless of how lengthy the visit seems to be, when I step out of the visitation room, lo, virtually no time has passed in the objective group experience world of the realm I, or they, currently live in. I wish to add that the visitation room can accommodate whatever shared experience we choose to have. We can go horseback riding together, which is not a vegan activity, attend a sporting event, or sit beneath a tree and talk, whatever we choose. This is really cool. It's like, hey, you want to meet me in the visitation room and we can go ride roller coasters, we can go skydiving, we can go in and like cuddle with lions. This sounds really awesome. When I first came to Elkush and experienced this wonder, I contemplated on the theme of why. This is so beautiful. I asked, why is it this way? At that moment, the Lord and Lady appeared to me and said, when Jaja contemplated the divine plan, they contemplated more details than can be written down in any book. Not even the Megillah reports all of the fruit of their divine contemplation, which, according to the Megillah, lasted for fathomless duration. They took fathomless duration, this whole long time, to think of all of the different ways that creation could happen and all of the different details. So cool. Therefore, realizing that in a cosmic school system for the training of souls, some souls will ascend the spiral ladder of being faster than others, perhaps faster than their parents or children or friends, Jaja chose to provide this manner of visitation between souls of various locations on the spiral. That was my answer from Jade and Janha, who, as the Megillah teaches, can appear in countless realms simultaneously. Mekesa paused and glanced at Yeshua and Miriam, then said, in other words, the answer to my question, and he looks at them because that's who they were, right? They were incarnating right there. They were right in front of him to say that, or for him to say that. In other words, the answer to my question, why, is Jaja thought of everything before setting the divine plan into motion. The fact is that it would have been somewhat cruel if we could not have ongoing visitation rites with those many souls that in our many incarnations we come to love. In the heavenly realm of Elkush, we remember all of our past incarnations and so remember all of our past loved ones. I will share one more aspect of this personal mansion of many rooms before I move on to describe, we're just going to focus on this for today, but I want to share that Jaja also provided that we not get so caught up in these visitations that we neglect our current incarnation in Elkush or wherever. Our time to use these rooms is during the roughly 1/3 of each day in which we sleep. However, sleep in Elkush is different than on Earth. In Elkush, we simply relax on our backs or sitting and enter a deep relaxation period. Unlike sleep on Earth, in Elkush, we are fully conscious, and if we choose to do so, we can play, study, or visit in these rooms. In that case, we consciously choose what we want to do. Our other option during this Elkushian equivalent of sleep time is to experience the Elkushian equivalent of human dreaming. In that case, rather than us deciding which rooms to enter and what we will do, we simply relax and affirm that Jaja will guide us to experience what is perfect for our current needs. We will then enter whatever rooms Jaja or the mechanisms that Jaja has put into place for this selects. That was really beautiful. I really love how positive and hopeful these teachings are because they're just really inspiring that there is connection and continuance of being for all beings, and no matter if our brothers and sisters continue to fall down the ladder of being, there's always another chance for them to start over. Even if they do fall into the dark pits and become the living manure of the next world, they get a chance to start again at square one and continue to try again. So it's always a very positive and hopeful situation, and I just really love how cool that is about these mansions in Elkush, that we can literally go back to any of our incarnations, which the more incarnations that you've done, the more rooms in your mansions, right? Like, it's hard to even fathom how because obviously it's not taking up a physical space, but just thinking about all the number of doors, which also kind of reminded me of Monsters Incorporated, which talks about the adrenochrome, right, and the energy that they get from scaring children. But I don't want to talk about anything negative because this is really, really exciting. And then the visitation room of getting to visit with all of our loved ones and actually have not something that is in the past, not something that is just in our minds, this fantasy that's happening. It's an actual interaction where our souls can temporarily be together no matter where we are in a physical world, or whatever plane of existence that we're on. Our souls can literally meet there in that visitation room, and it's just really awesome that God thought of everything before they created us and made everything so beautiful. Kyle Smith, how's it going? Kyle says, hello from the mall in East Mesa. Here for the air conditioning and walking around. Nice. Well, I hope that that is nice and cooling and that something exciting happens for you today while you're out and about. David D says, Elkush is heaven, a place of delight, a place of bliss where all are at peace. Exactly. So the Garden of Eden in this story, where Adam and Eve were, eventually fell because of all of the animal sacrifice and the bloodshed, and the ultimate line was when Cain slayed Abdiel and Esau. There was a decision that was made to essentially raise Elkush to the heaven of this world, and the Nasareans were given the opportunity to either stay in Elkush and go up and be in that heavenly abode, or to stay on this earth and as in feet of mercy. And it's, if you haven't, I think I took it down because of the copyright strikes, but we'll have to revisit the inspiring words for Enoch, because he basically says that to get up to the heavens we have to reach low, and how is it even a heaven if we're sitting here enjoying it and our brothers and sisters are down here suffering? It's really beautiful. Hey Katrina, how's it going? Katrina says, Queen, thanks for sharing this vital wisdom with us, using your stunning beauty for good. Aw, thanks. I appreciate that. David D says, you are the divine messenger of the teachings of the Megillah. Oh, thanks. The teacher of the deeper truths. Well, I definitely appreciate that, and I'm grateful to use all of the tools that God and Goddess gave me to spread the message. I think that having that purpose in life is really important. As I talked about yesterday, the holy work day, finding that light at the end of the tunnel and then moving towards it is really, really important. We all have talents and gifts and ways that we can help this world become better, and using those talents and gifts and everything that we've been given to further our holy work and uplift others is what I encourage you to do, and I am encouraging myself to do that as well. I love music, I play music, I sing, and I would really love to start sharing that with you guys. Just maybe bringing my guitar and playing a little song and having that, and a lot of other things. So I would encourage you to find what your holy work is, and then put all of your talents and abilities towards that and furthering the kingdom. Katrina says, let's get back to that garden day by day. Exactly. Literally, Trevor was recommending me to read it, and the day I finally began to decide to read it, you were live streaming. Same, which was a synchronicity for me. Oh, that's so cool. Do you have the PDF then that's available for free online? It only goes up to, I think, chapter 49 or 50 maybe. But I love this book. So that's so cool that you were just recommended that, and I could be the synchronicity for you. Oh, that's so cool. David D says, you uplift others when you teach the truth. Exactly. And that's what we're ultimately here for, lifting ourselves up and others. And hopefully if I can inspire you to do anything, it is that, to become the best version of yourself possible, and to try to help uplift others as well. Not looking down on people in a judgmental way, but looking at them with compassion in order to try to help lift them up. There's so much of a difference when you see people like online. I've especially interacted with like religious people for my own ability to understand this concept, and therefore use it to be implemented in my own vegan and preaching as well. When you really want someone to like change, or if you care about their soul, especially with religious people, when they come at you sideways like, you're going to hell, and like this very condemning and negative way, you're pushing them down and again putting them in that brain state of survival and being attacked. If you really wanted to lift them up, if you really if you really wanted people to come to your side, if you're really trying to save souls, you wouldn't be being like, you're going to hell, you're, having that kind of energy towards them. You would want to come in very kindly and gracefully, just like Christ did, and try to, from a loving perspective, help them see what the situation is that's wrong. So that's something that I'm working on myself in my ways to interact with other people. And that's not only for them, but also for myself, because I feel bad when I'm mean to people. I don't want to be mean. So it's like neither side ends the conversation feeling good about themselves when we're in this state of combat. So we need to really focus on our own way of delivery and also our own way of kind of defending against demonic attacks. When these people, when they do get offended, learning how to extinguish that fire instead of adding fuel to it, right? Lots of different things. David D says, it's hard to be understanding when dealing with the ignorant, especially flesh eaters. I definitely agree. It's definitely hard. And in my morning communions, I just keep praying every day for kindness, trying to be kind and compassionate, and trying to truly be the hands and feet of mercy. It's not about I'm right and you're wrong. It's not about this combative, dominating type behavior. Again, it's about coming at them with this love and compassion and understanding. But you're right when they're saying, oh, bacon, or just saying these really cruel and evil things. It's really hard to come at them with compassion and love, but understanding also that they are under demonic influence, and basically the soul inside has kind of allowed the demon to take over. So it's like the bacon demon that's like, bacon, commenting these things. You're not even dealing with the soul. So the first thing you need to do is try to actually connect with the soul inside and bypass that demonic influence that they're under. So easier said than done. That being said, I'm going to take it back to this prayer for the day and wrap it up. May wisdom guide us as we accept or reject things from the past. May your angel of wisdom bless all that we pass on to the future, not just with what we eat, but especially with our religious and spiritual teachings, how we raise children to see others, if we're raising them to believe that others are divine, and also if we ourselves are acting like that. First, we need to reassess our behavior and then think about the behavior that we have as parents, right? But for those people that are already in a predicament where they're working on themselves and they already have kids, not a predicament, but it's really, it's really important for us to constantly do this self-reflection and becoming a better person so that we can make better future generations. That being said, I'm going to get off of here. I hope that you were fascinated, as I was, by those mansions of heaven and the idea that we literally can go into these rooms of our existence and a room of just a one individual person that we've interacted with, and how all of that just changed the world around us. It's really, really fascinating. So I hope that you take that as well. It kind of ties into it, because what we do ripples out along the rest of the existence as well. So that being said, I hope that you have a wonderful day. May God and the Goddess bless you.